Yo, 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 this is the Option Addict from www.optionaddict.net. And that's right, it's weekly watch list time. It actually feels like it's been a month since I've done this last, but I'm going to start off with a little bit of market analysis, and we're going to get on to the stocks I'm going to be watching for this upcoming week's worth of trading. Starting off here with the chart of the S&P 500, and what we've been watching for the last couple weeks is to see whether or not we're going to make it above this psychological resistance level. You can see a few attempts have failed for prices to get beyond this 1390, 1400 range. You can see as of Friday we rallied, but we stopped just short of resistance. Now, while the Dow Jones also happened to have broken out of this level of resistance, the more broader indices have kind of been a little shy as far as to getting beyond these levels. So that's one thing we are watching this week, is to whether prices are going to get outside this level or not. If they do, expect those old areas of resistance to act as new support, and if that's the case, we're looking for prices to start moving higher. As far as things that are going to move this market this week, earnings. We don't have a whole lot of economic news with the exception of existing home sales, new home sales, and crude inventories. So what we're watching specifically this week is earnings announcements, and there's some big players coming up this week. So make sure you are checking an earnings calendar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with price patterns like I normally do, and then we'll go from there. First, I'm going to start off with ticker symbol MAT, which is Mattel. And if you look really closely here, we're battling up alongside some resistance here. And this is a cheap stock, and I am aware of that. But you can see we've got some resistance here at about $22 per share. We've got a series of higher lows. So what we have here is somewhat of an ascending triangle, even though it's coming off of a bottom. So now that we're seeing higher highs and higher lows, this will qualify as a very short-term uptrend, but to confirm this ascending triangle, we're looking for a break of resistance here. And once that happens, what we'll expect is about a $3 move to the upside, which puts this stock right at about $26 per share, which should be an easy price target, being that it is a $20 stock. Another one on my list is Amazon, ticker symbol AMZN. And what you'll see going on here with Amazon is we're coming up alongside some resistance here. You can see we broke outside of it. And this is sort of the inverse head and shoulders pattern. So if you look here, we've got a shoulder here, we've got a shoulder here, we've got a head here, and we have a breakout here to confirm that. Now, there's also kind of been a psychological level of resistance around 80, although I think this qualifies. You can see the volume is there to support this move. So to me, this looks like a start of what should put this stock back up to prior highs. Looking at the pattern here, this pattern measures by a pretty significant amount, so I think this is definitely something you should be watching. Next on the list is ticker symbol FDP, which is Fresh Del Monte Produce. And what I'm watching here is kind of the ascending triangle of sorts, and I'm not getting all the lines to match up here properly, but I'm not really all that concerned. What I do see here is a series of higher lows. What I do see here is some resistance right at around $38 per share, which is kind of where we're poised right now, and I'm watching for a breakout. I've been talking about food products and food processing over the last few weeks. I'm really bullish on food here because prices have been increasing, and what looks to be a possible breakout here, which should mean a pretty good move for the stock. So I want you to keep that on the radar. Next, we're moving on to Owens, Illinois, which is ticker symbol OI, and what you can see here just by drawing a few simple trend lines is an ascending triangle. Now, we don't have a real crisp breakout yet from my perspective. We don't have a lot of volume here to support this move, even though we do have a higher close than what we've seen over the last year, a new 52-week high. It's not by a tremendous amount. So not a lot of volume here on this move, but it's still a place you can easily manage your risk. So make sure you're watching this. I still think there's about a 10 to 15% move coming up in the short term. Next is ticker symbol CYT, and what I'm watching here is a symmetrical triangle. You remember this on the list from way back when, but we're seeing it coiling up here again, and as of earnings, we're seeing a tremendous breakout. Now, I wouldn't encourage you to get in right here because, of course, it's really, really tough to manage your risk up at this price. If the stock starts to pull back a little bit into the, let's say, higher $50 range, anywhere through this range, I'd like to be a buyer. Next, I'm going to DNR, which is Denbury Resources, and what you'll see here is just a simple ascending triangle. Simple as that. What I'm watching for is a break above resistance, and you guys can see this is a pretty dynamic price pattern as far as the width is concerned. So we'd be looking for about a 10 to 12 point move over the course of about the next 3 months. Now, you also need to make sure you're watching the financials. We'll look at Lehman, ticker symbol LEH. You can see prices are coiling up here. We got a nice little breakout to the upside. Merrill Lynch also qualifies, ticker symbol MER. And you can see prices closed right back around this trend line. So this one might not be the best yet, but still, these stocks might be putting in a bottom, and these price patterns here are what I'm watching to see if that's actually the case or not. Now, a reversal pattern I'm watching, which is ICLR. This one's been on the list a few times, and this is not your typical looking head and shoulders formation, but what I'm watching here is I'm just seeing that this prices here are getting pretty toppy. So again, this isn't the most aesthetically pleasing pattern I've ever seen, but nonetheless, I'm watching for a break of support right here. You can see the line. If that breaks, I think the stock's got a pretty good reversal in store. Next, I'm looking at ticker symbol EYE, which is Advanced Medical Optics. This is a pretty cheap stock, and I don't think it's all that liquid, so if you are going to be looking at this one, you might want to consider a short as opposed to buying put options, but I'll let you be the judge of open interest. I never got to that point yet. Next is ticker symbol RTI. I'm also seeing the same thing going on here, although the resistance line is pretty steep on this guy, so I wouldn't necessarily be hoping for a price target that's that big. You can see from top to bottom we're measuring from 45 to 75, so it's doubtful the stock is going to make a 50% decrease, but what I am watching for is for the bottom to give way and at least a momentum trade to take place. Next is the cup and handle pattern I've been watching here on CRM. Still haven't seen a breakout of this yet, but you can see how prices are just kind of generally rounding out. Yeah, it's a good visual depiction there. I'm watching prices consolidate here around 65. Once I get a breakout, I'm looking to trade that. And last but not least is ticker symbol APC. And you can see here another ascending triangle, pretty wide, so it should be a pretty good price movement. The breakouts there, they got slightly better than average volume, so I'd say that qualifies. If I'm going to draw average volume, it'd be right about here, and we're just slightly above that line, so I'm good with that. I like the trade here. Risk is easy to manage, so I'm down. And I'm also going to throw out a few things that I'm watching this week as far as dips and rips, so I'm going to throw those at you via slide. Here you go. Now I'm also watching some possible breakouts, some stocks that have built some solid levels of resistance, so here's that list. And also a list of possible breakdowns, stocks that have built some strong support levels that are looking like they're getting pretty close to breaking. Here are those. So that's it, my friends. Like I said, this could be a pretty big week for the market, especially if all the indices start to confirm breakouts. Got a lot of earnings surprises, a little bit of economic data, but most importantly, a lot of profits to be made. So make sure you're getting out there. And in the meantime, for all your money-making opportunities, make sure you visit www.optionaddict.net. Have a great week, folks. Take care.
Let me ask you something. When you come in on Monday and you're not feeling real well, does anyone ever say to you, sounds like someone has a case of the Mondays?
No. No, man. Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.